Brand new year, the same Who Day. We'll show you what we got. Special guests, past, present players. Tune in, see who we brought. Hear the fun, it never ends. It's Talking Football with Bengal Jim and friends. Back for more this year again. Never before heard Bengal stories, a weekly Who Day event. Talking football with Bengal Jim and friends. It all goes back to charity, every single cent. Talking football with Bengal Jim and friends.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Season 6, Episode 2, Tom. Episode 2 of Talking Football with Bengal Jim and Friends. James is, I think, heading back from New York from vacation right now, and Jamie's still up in Canada. But special guest tonight, Tom. Maybe not a huge name, but I'm telling you, man, like we talked about, maybe the best blocking tight end in Bengals history, right?
No, the best blocking tight end in Bengals history, and an outstanding teammate, a great guy. Very important to those powerful offenses in the 2000s. So it'll be really neat to catch up with Reggie Kelly.
Yep, good stuff. We'll have him on here at 8:05, so 4 more minutes. Let's talk about a little jungle jam, guys. I'm going to go over the itinerary here real quick, and this will be posted tomorrow at some point. Guys, July 19th, remember, this is a free event. It is free. There's 2 sessions that you had to pay for if you wanted to be part of it. The VIP session, which starts at 11. That has been sold out for a few weeks now. And then the other session that starts at 1:45 on the 19th is the alumni autograph session. I think we have less than 5 tickets left for that. I didn't check today. I think yesterday we had 5 or 6. So I know we had to cap that as well. But everything else going on that day is free. The Jungle Remember video by Cam Miller will be on. We got Santa's Goodie Bag Band. If you've never seen them before, you will have a blast. We got the 2025 season preview. We're still crossing our fingers. We think Coach Taylor's going to be involved in that. The Bengals are going to perform. We have a concert about 4:30-ish. We got 22 Bengal vendors that are going to be set up inside and outside at the levee. Face painters, magicians, bands. It's going to be a blast. We were down at the levee, my wife and I, this weekend twice, believe it or not, and everybody down at the levee, all the new bars, all the restaurants are ready for you to come down and enjoy. Mi Cozumel, a New Mexican restaurant, just opened up there this past week. So there's all kinds of indoor space if it gets too damn hot. But Tom, it's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot of big names coming. And actually, let's scroll the banner with some of these guys as we're talking about this. Here's the list right now. We're up to over 40 Bengal players, a lot of former players, and a good handful of current players too, Tom.
And let me look at some of those names, just the names going by right now. Joe Walter, Ken Anderson, Kevin Caseharn's really anxious to come. Lamar Parrish might be a really big year for him. Louis Breeden from Super Bowl 16. Max Montoya, best guard in Bengals history. Mohamed Sanu, the great Pat McInally, Pete Johnson. I mean, look at that. And the thing of it is, keep checking on our social media pages. We've got some very big names that have some scheduling conflicts that they're trying to remedy to get in. But yeah, we've got, and I think, as opposed to last year, Jimmy, wouldn't you say we've got every era of Bengals history covered here?
We have players
from the present team. Yeah.
Every era of Bengals football is represented, man. We're really, real excited about this. So, but yeah, there's the names, man. So I'll let it go through one more time. But a lot of, again, if you're watching on, like right now, we are not streaming to Facebook. We're not streaming to Twitter. We're only streaming to YouTube. We just want one source move forward on this. So if you're watching right now, if you could hit subscribe, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. So we've got a lot of followers already, but we're trying to make a single source for the show move forward. And we're going to be on YouTube and YouTube only for the rest of the year, man. So we're excited. So somebody's asking a question. Mike Wills, that's when VIP starts. The VIP session starts. So basically, those are already sold out. You'll have a ticket. Your names will be on a list, but we'll get you guys in there. We want to start 10:30. We have to start at 11 o'clock. We had an hour and 15 minutes for that session. So pre-registering or getting in, opening up for the VIP session at 10:30. So everybody is in the room ready to go by 11 o'clock, because there's a lot of stuff that we got butted up against each other that we want to get you guys out of there in enough time to see all the other things going on that day.
Jimmy, you want to go over who's in the VIP session again?
Yeah. So we've got Sam Hubbard will be there for the VIP session. Yoshi will be there. And we just got word, like literally just yesterday, that that Mike Gesicki wife is pregnant, and he's going to stay with her. He's not going to be coming in town for this event, but we have a couple other really big names that are probably going to be plugged in that spot. So 100% Yoshi's involved in the VIP, and Sam Hubbard will be in the VIP session as well. So some pretty big names. Our guest here tonight, Reggie Kelly, will also be in attendance as well. So a lot of big names.
Very big name. Ken Riley II.
Yep.
If you haven't had a chance to meet Ken Riley II, you can see every good thing that was said about Ken Riley just by meeting Ken Riley II. Great guy, classy guy, intelligent, loves football, appreciates Bengal fans. Great guy to spend some time with, I hope. Jimmy, is there going to be a way we can get he and Lamar on stage together, get everybody a good picture op with them?
Yeah, we have to figure that out. There's some things I would love to get Jeff Blake, Darnay Scott, Carl Pickens on the stage together at one time. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on all over the levee. But yeah, we're going to have all kinds of things going on. So Reggie's in the room. I don't see him yet. I mean, we already talked to him a little bit ago right before the show started. So when he comes back on camera in the waiting room, Reg, if you can hear us, bud, go ahead and turn your camera on, and we'll pull you on. So talk a little bit about Reggie. Go ahead, and he's in the room right now, Tom. So go ahead and introduce our next guest, bud.
I think one of the key free agent signings of the Marvin Lewis era, and we got from Atlanta Reggie Kelly, not just a classy player, a great teammate, a total leader, but a stud on the field. In my mind, the best blocking tight end in Bengals history, and we really appreciate what he's doing for us this month and certainly tonight. So to kick us off tonight, here is Bengals tight end Reggie Kelly. Reggie, welcome to Bengal Jim and Friends.
Who they, baby? What's up, fellas? How's it going?
What's going on, Reg? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Did you guys enjoy the 4th?
Man, it's too hot everywhere. I think we were talking about it before the show started, Reggie and I and Tom. It was too damn hot in Atlanta, too damn hot in Cincinnati, but we enjoyed friends and family, so it was a good time, Reg.
Oh, absolutely. Got both of my kids here at the house, had an opportunity to cook for them like I always do, make them dread leaving home, going back to school.
Let's get it kicked off. Tom, go ahead and get us started, buddy. We got a couple videos we're going to share tonight with Reggie. But again, as you're on, remember we stopped viewing live the Facebook. All the Facebook people are trying to find YouTube right now. If you can, type in any questions you guys got. We'll try to throw some of those out to Reggie here at some point before he gets off the line here. So Tom, go ahead and kick us off, buddy.
Reggie, everything I said in the introduction, we're going to touch on again, how you were viewed and respected and what you meant to everybody as a teammate. But were there teammates during your time here in Cincinnati that meant a lot to you, that you really enjoyed playing next to you and becoming friends with in the locker room?
Certainly, anytime you play on a high school level, collegiate level, and then also in the NFL, you tend to grow fond with all of your teammates, but definitely specifically a certain few. And for me, those two guys I would say would be John Kitna and then also Carson Palmer. Our lockers were side by side. It was Kitna first, and then the Bengals decided to put Carson, which was our rookie, in the middle of us, and then I was the next guy. So it was our three lockers right next to each other. So you can imagine before we went to meetings, the three of us were talking and laughing and joking. After the meetings, we were talking and laughing and joking. Before we went to practice, the same thing. Then after practice, we ended up going to Bible studies together, chapels together, marriage conferences together. And we grew quite a bond. Needless to say, those guys knew I was going to be protecting their blind sides as well. So they made sure that they stay in good with your boy. Those two guys were really two of my favorites from a standpoint of Kitna. He was the ultimate leader, right? Had a fiery side to him. Everybody respected him, went out and did the job that he was supposed to do. But he was also a great mentor to Carson. And Carson came in, man, a focused rookie, a rookie that didn't quite get distracted. And even anytime he threw a pick, the pick never rattled him. He always kept his poise, and I love that about that young fella. And we grew quite a bond together, the three of us, because our lockers were side by side by side. And so we had a lot of time to joke with each other, to talk about life, to talk about our Christian faith, and to also come up with a game plan on how we were going to execute against certain defenses.
Yeah. So Reggie, I know I want to get to this one right out the box here. So I know we talked about this a few weeks ago, and I had never heard a tight end talk about an offensive lineman the way you did. So talk about, being the best blocking tight end in Bengals history. Talk about some guys you bounced some things off of that made yourself better from game to game.
Well, when you think about the Cincinnati Bengals, we were potent as far as on our offense, from running the football to also passing the football. There was a time, especially in 2005, that we couldn't be stopped. And the only time that we did get stopped is when we stopped ourselves with penalties or turnovers and things of that nature. And in order for you to have a really great passing game and a really great running game, you got to have great offensive linemen, hands down. A lot of attention may have been focused on the skilled guys, but our linemen were the ones who really held it down for us, and we knew that as a group. And just think about it. We had a Levi Jones as our left tackle, and Eric Steinbach as our left guard, the GOAT, Richie Bram, running the center, Bobby Williams, and then none other than future Hall of Famer, Willie Anderson. Yeah. And Willie Anderson was the guy. Let's just be real. He was the guy that everybody bounced questions off of him, because he was the guy that if you needed questions as far as, Willie, man, I got to block this guy one-on-one, a guy that you have to block every single day, every single down. What approach should I take in order to block this guy? And Willie would always give me bits and pieces on what I needed to do, especially pass protecting, which a lot of times in today's game, you don't see tight ends doing a lot of pass protecting one-on-one against defensive ends. Well, the Bengals brought me in to do that. And I had a great coach in Jonathan Hayes, who played 12 years in the NFL. He taught me a lot. But when I wasn't picking his brain, I was all the time in Willie's locker picking his brain, asking him, what technique would you give me? What little point of views would you give me from your vantage point on how to block this guy who dominates tackles every week, and I have to block him as a tight end? In the running game, he was instrumental for me. In the passing game, he was instrumental for me. And to be quite frankly with you, a lot of the things that I did on the football field, I credit to Big Willie taking time to tell me from a tackle's perspective to a tight end's perspective what I should do in order to get the job done. And so that guy, man, he was a Hall of Fame teammate. I'm extremely excited to see him go into the Hall of Fame and get his jacket. Because let's be real, guys. When you look at, like, if the two of you guys were given a job to write down all the attributes of a Hall of Fame right tackle, a few things that you guys would probably list, right? You would say, well, he has to have a certain height, has to have a certain wingspan, has to be strong but yet agile and athletic, has to have great footwork, has to play the game of football with great leverage and great hand placement, has to be cerebral as well, know how to articulate a game, know how to dissect the defense. And then you would probably say he has to be a dog. Now, you guys can remember all of those attributes if you want to, but most people would say that describes Willie Anderson. And Willie Anderson has all of those attributes, mixed in one player. It was absolutely astronomical, hard to believe. And so for me, he was the ideal teammate for me to pick his brains on how to be the blocker that the Bengals called me, the Bengals signed me to be. And I owe a lot of what I did on the football field to him. And so I can't wait to see him get enshrined into the Hall of Fame. I'll make sure I'm there with my wife so that we can go and root him on and be there for him, because he definitely deserves it. He's a heck of a player. Yeah,
we will all be there with you, Reg. He's overdue, just like a good handful of ex-Bengals that should be in there. And he was this close last year. So man, we know it's coming. We know it's coming.
It's coming, man. Well, I'll tell you this. It's funny, man, because when we were actually playing together, we had a pretty potent offense, and our offense was really tight-knit. And so I can remember like after Friday's practice, and Fridays is somewhat like a touch-up getting you prepared for Sunday's game. And Friday's practices are normally pretty easy, at least when we played. And I remember as an offense, after our Friday's practice, we would get together and we would meet as an offense. It was a player-led meeting, and Carson was the player who led the meeting. And I can remember this one game we were playing this everything defensive lineman. And normally when we go to those meetings, guys, right, we're going over like just the finer details of the game, the finer details of our game plan, trying to make sure that everybody was on the same page. And I can remember, man, we were distracted during that meeting, right? Because we was watching this one player just cause havoc against every offensive lineman he was playing up against. It had got to the point, instead of us focusing on the game plan, we were just focusing on him saying, "Oh, man, there's no way he did that." And it got to a point that we were just constantly focusing on this player, to the point where Willie said, hey, listen, guys, listen, Carson, you don't have to worry about this guy. I'm going to neutralize him. Just focus on the other 10 players. Wait, what? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? But it was that type of confidence and that type of surety that he knew that he was going to neutralize this player, to ease Carson, to ease everybody else, to let everybody know that we're going to win this game and this guy is going to be a non-factor. Well, I said that same thing. I started to get a little confidence myself. I'm saying, well, Big Willie, if Big Willie is saying he's going to neutralize him, then, hey, guys, I'm going to neutralize him too. But I just said it under my breath. I'd make sure I didn't say it out loud. We're going to have to eat those words. And lo and behold, Willie played such a great game against this particular defender, Hall of Fame defender, to the point that he got the game ball for that particular game. And so when you see Willie matched up against Hall of Fame defenders and neutralize those defenders, and those defenders are in the Hall of Fame, quite surely he definitely deserves to be in there, and I can't wait.
Reg, do you remember who that defender was?
Oh, I do. I just can't call any names, but I do.
All right. Willie's talked about that with us, so I can't remember if he mentioned the name in that one too. So
I know exactly who he is, and this guy he was an absolute beast. He was a killer. Offensive lineman feared him. Only way you could really stop him is if you double team him. Yeah. And Willie manhandled him one-on-one the entire game. I had to match up with him as well. I didn't fare out quite as good as Willie did. But I tell you, man, I had already respected Big Willie, but after that game, he took it to another level.
All right. So, Reg, you came to Cincinnati from Atlanta in 2003. Talk about that. I mean, was that something you expected? What was your feeling about that at that time? And
yeah, man, shucks, the 2002 season that I had with the Atlanta Falcons was an exciting year. That was the year that Michael Vick came into his own, so he was electrifying the NFL, doing things that none of us expected that type of player to do. And he was putting on a show each and every week. And so we had a really, really great 2002 season, to the point where we ended up, going to the playoff, defeating the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. We were the first team to ever defeat the Green Bay Packers in a playoff game on their home turf. And the late, great Dan Reeves gave all of us a game ball to commemorate that particular point in history. And so I had a great season, and I became an unrestricted free agent. And lo and behold, as soon as free agency opened, the first coach that called me was none other than Coach Tony Dungy, the head coach for the Indianapolis Colts. He called me first right off the bat as soon as free agency opened up, because Coach Dungy and I had a good relationship. He had coached me in the Senior Bowl coming out of college, and so we had a pretty good rapport. He liked the way that I worked. He told me when he was at Tampa, if he had an opportunity to draft me, he would do just that. The Falcons selected me early, and then lo and and so when he called me for me to sign with the coach, I just told my agent, let's do it. Let's do it right away. That's nothing to think about. We don't have to go through these type of scenarios. Let's just go ahead on and sign on the dotted line. Had Peyton Manning, had a really great squad. Tony Dungy is Tony Dungy, right? We knew that he was going to win football games. And I was like, man, let's go. That's an opportunity of a lifetime, because I really wanted to play for him. But my agent, who was Jimmy Sexton at the time, told me, listen, man, I've been there and I've done that. I understand free agency. Let's make sure that there are some other opportunities out there for you, because you want to make sure that you can, have some leverage in regards to negotiating contracts. Well, lo and behold, shortly after that, the St. Louis Rams, who was the greatest show on turf at that particular time, had me come in. I was like, wow, that's another really good team, that has a great record, that's doing great things. And then lastly, the Cincinnati Bengals came calling. Cincinnati Bengals. So I had the Indianapolis coach with Coach Tony Dungy. We know what he brings to the table. The greatest show on turf, we know what they were going to bring to the table. And I still had the Atlanta Falcons still wanting my service with an exciting Michael Vick at the helm. We know what they were going to do as well. But then the Cincinnati Bengals came calling, who basically, from my perspective, if I could be wrong, guys, correct me, but I think that they hadn't had a winning season in over 10 years and over a decade when they were trying to recruit me, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And I just told my agent, listen, I got some really high-powered team wanting my services, some teams that's for sure going to win football games. Let's cut through all the chase. Let's go ahead and sign with one of these teams. But he said, nope. What we need to do is make sure we give everybody an opportunity. And so let's take a trip to Cincinnati. And I did just that, got on the plane with my wife, and we flew to the Natty to meet with Coach Lewis and Coach Jonathan Hayes, Paul Alexander, Jim Anderson, and the offensive staff, Bob Burkowski, who was a coach at the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he loved blocking tight ends who could do the same type of job as a Mark Bruner. And so they brought me in, and I met with all the coaches, and they seemed to be going on the right path. And then lastly, I met with Coach Lewis, and Coach Lewis pulled me to the side. My wife was out of the room. It was just he and I talking man to man. He said, listen to me, Reg. I know what you can do on the football field. Every coach in the NFL knows what you can do. If you weren't a good football player, you wouldn't be getting the interest that you're getting. So we know that. But one of the main reasons why we wanted you to come to this team, why we want you to come to this team, Reggie, is because we know what you bring outside of the game of football, off the field. We know that you're going to be a professional on the football field, but based on your reputation, you're going to be a professional off the football field. And we need a guy like you who can come in, mentor some of your teammates, talk to them about the importance of family life, talk to them about the importance of life after football, talk to them about the importance of managing their finances. Some of them have some challenges that they're facing. We need guys like you who can garner some stability in the locker room and bring that professionalism to the Cincinnati Bengals. And we believe that you're the guy for the job. As soon as Coach Lewis said that, I knew I was going to be a Cincinnati Bengal. I just didn't tell him that because I still had to negotiate a contract. But I knew I was going to be a Cincinnati Bengals because what I failed to tell you guys was a month before free agency opened up, I said that same prayer to the good Lord, that wherever I go, wherever you take me, wherever I go, I want to go to a place where I can lead these men, where I can serve these men, being a servant leader to help them grow, not only as football players, but men. And might I tell you guys this, my 8th season with the Cincinnati Bengals, there were multiple players that came to me, talked to me about the challenges that they have with their families, asked me about issues on how to manage their finances, asked me about issues on how to become entrepreneurs. So many different intimate settings, intimate conversations that I had with my teammates, trying not only to help them on the football field to become greater football players, but ultimately to help them to become better men. That means the most to me. And I would like to say this. At first, I didn't want to come to the Cincinnati Bengals because I was more so looking at it from a standpoint of wins and losses. But I tell many people this, most of the people I talk to, I tell them that was the best business decision I could have ever made, playing for the Cincinnati Bengals. It helped me to become a better player. It helped me to become a better man, and it helped me to become a better servant. And so by doing that, man, I learned a lot of life lessons, and I'm hoping that my teammates learn as well.
Reg, that story gives me goosebumps, buddy. That's awesome. That is awesome. Tom, go ahead, bud.
Reggie, jumping forward, you mentioned your first contract there. I remember when you re-upped. And I can remember it was a nameless coach from all places, the evil empire itself, the city of Three Rivers, who was very upset that you re-up. But I also thought, and although we have fun with him, that we do respect him. Well, a lot of things about him, not everything. Probably gave you as good a compliment as I think you can get a player. And he said, the problem with Reggie Kelly isn't that he's reliable. It isn't just that he can dominate with their blocking schemes in both pass and run. It's he makes every other player on the field better. And when you go back and you think about that, you look at some of the guys in the years they had because you were on the team. You look at the numbers Chad Johnson could put up, the numbers that TJ Hushmanzada could put up, and in those clutch situations make those third down catches. Rudy Johnson had the best season of any Bengals running back in history while you were there opening holes for him. Willie's going to get to the Hall of Fame one day. Rich Bram should have gone to multiple Pro Bowls. That has nothing to do with you, but we all know they were good enough. Levi Jones should have gone to the Pro Bowl. I mean, looking back on all those guys and you know what you meant to the team, do you hear from them? Did you take pride at the time? Did you know, hey, I'm important to these guys, with their flashy numbers and their clips on ESPN and all that kind of stuff. Did you realize at the time a lot of that was because of you?
Well, I just say that, as players, we all got our jobs to do. And regardless if it's a glamorous job or, as I like to say, my job was more so taking out the trash. Somebody still had to take out the trash to keep things from stinking, right? And so my teammates, they knew that and they understood it. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of times I remember TJ used to come to me and say, Reg, I feel bad for you, man. You do all this blocking for us and you never catch any passes. I hate it for you. But I said, man, you know what? What makes me feel good is to see you guys shine. And so I didn't have a problem if it meant I had to block on third downs to protect Carson. And that's what I wanted to do so that Chad can run that deep dig, or that TJ can run that 8, the post route. I didn't have a problem, opening up holes for Rudy J, because when you have a good running back that puts up numbers, not only does he look good, we all look good. And even if I'm not in the limelight, somebody has to work behind the scenes, right? Somebody has to be the camera guy, somebody has to be the cleanup guy. Somebody has to take the trash out. I didn't mind doing it at all, as long as my teammates were going to shine. And to me, being a player that did all the dirty work, I felt good because I felt like I was the one that my teammates really, really valued the most. Because I had many teammates that came up to me saying that they value what I did, they appreciate what I did, and they respected what I did. And when a teammate didn't catch the amount of balls that they wanted to catch, the coaches would always send me over there to talk to them to kind of calm them down a little bit. And when I would talk to them, they would say, well, what can I say? Reg didn't catch a pass today. He didn't even get a look today, and yet he still has the right attitude. And I know that was my job to do that, and I absolutely loved it. And I hear a lot of people, they always say, well, Reg, you didn't have the stats. You didn't catch a lot of passes. Well, I did whatever it took to help our team win. And to be quite honest with you, I wish that you have a lot of players that have share that same type of sentiment, because football is it's a team sport. And granted, I get it. We all want our catches. We all want big contracts. But at the end of the day, we still want to win football games. And sometimes you got to take a step back and push others forward. Chad made us better. TJ made us better. Rudy made us better. So what do we have to do? What do I have to do as the 6th offensive lineman to make sure that Carson has plenty of time where he can sit back in his lazy boy chair without any stress, sit back in the pocket and deliver a strike down the field, where Chad can feel comfortable not trying to break his route off too early because he feels like protection is going to break down. And when those guys have that same type of confidence in me to do my job, a lot of times, I'll be honest with you guys, I may not have gotten rewarded as far as passes, but just a pat on the back man, we appreciate you, Reg. Nice work, baby. That meant the world to me. That meant, again, that I was doing my job to what the coaches called me to do. Come in, be a professional on the football field, be a professional off the football field, show these men how they're supposed to conduct themselves. And so if I was the one who was, you know, I didn't promote myself as a leader, but I think just my teammates put me as one of the leaders of the team. And if I was griping and complaining and crying every time something didn't go my way, what type of message would I be sending, you know, especially to the younger guys who I'm trying to groom and show them the way? And so I appreciate that more than the stats. Yeah, I wanted to catch football just like anybody else. I wanted to score touchdowns like anybody else, but that just wasn't my job description. And whatever my job description was, which was blocking, I was going to make sure I was a darn good one.
So it sounds like Monday morning in films, your name wasn't called out too much for any credit. It was pretty smooth for you Monday mornings. We've heard some horror stories from guys.
Yeah, no, I didn't get called out too much. You know, I pretty much, you know, floated under the radar. But again, you know, we were, again, a close-knit offense. That's one thing I want to make sure I convey to you guys. We were really close. I mean, we did a lot of stuff together. Like after practice, we did things together. After Friday's practice, Big Willie would host a get-together, a dinner for the entire offense, and we would all get together, eat. But it was more so about camaraderie, you know, building a bond, saying, I got your back. You got to have my back. If this doesn't go right, you got to come clean it up. I may need your help, so you got to come clean it up. And when you have that type of accountability and display that type of responsibility, that was the reason why at one point we were hard to beat. A lot of people think it's just about talent. It is about talent, but it's also building the bond, knowing that your brother's going to be at the right spot at the right time every single time, and you can depend on him. And when you can't depend on him, he's not going to point fingers. He's going to come and take the blame and get right back and let's rock and roll. And that's one of the things I just absolutely loved about playing with this group of guys, and I'll forever cherish that.
That's awesome. So, Reg, we got a couple videos. Every guest player we have on, we've had easily over 100 guests over the past 5 years, players. And we try to find videos that you've never seen before, maybe videos you might have forgotten. We're going to bring back a memory or two. So we got a first one here, 2003, your first year with Cincinnati. You guys went to the city up north to play the Cleveland Browns. And the Bengals get the first win of the year, 21-14. But let's watch this video, and after the video, we'll talk about it.
14 all, John Kitna, play action. Kelly Washington, touchdown. First lead of the season for the Bengals, 21-14.
First of all, Chris Berman said that was Kelly Washington. You would have done the squirrel if it was Kelly Washington. But Reg, do you remember that? I think that was your first touchdown in Cincinnati for Bengals, right?
Yeah, that was my first touch, you know, for Cincinnati, and that season, that was my first year with the Bengals. Obviously, Kitna and I, we were roommates even on the road, and so he had told me, man, hey, if I can hit you, be ready for it. I'm gonna make sure I get you in that zone. And so the defense was perfect. They bid on the play action. Linebackers came up to bite and try to make a play against the running back. And all I needed was just a little bit of wiggle room to get around those linebackers and head for the back pylon. I'm not sure if you guys noticed, on that particular game, I actually partially tore my tricep. And so I could really barely even raise my right arm for that game. So I was basically playing on one arm, to be honest with you. And Kitna threw that ball right there in the breadbasket, so I didn't have to try to stretch my arm out in order to catch that pass, because if I did, who knows? And so he knew that I was playing in pain. My offensive line knew that I was playing in pain. And so that made Kitna even more wanted to reward me. Because let's be honest with you, a partially torn tricep with a tight end who's a blocking tight end that has to block defensive ends, that's going to be extremely tough to do. But I tried to gut it out for my teammates. And I was definitely appreciative that Kitna decided to hit me on that and get your boy in the zone.
That was the game you gave Marvin his first win as a coach.
Yep.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow, man.
So I will play this next video here. And Reg, I almost didn't want to play this, man, because I had tears in my eyes when I watched. I remember 2009 on Hard Knocks. You had an injury, so we're gonna play this video, and we're going to talk about this a little bit, man, because hold on one second. We'll let it play. It's about a minute long, so it's a little bit longer than the video we just watched. So hold on.
Damn.
Far too early for an injury.
Trainer.
Especially to someone as valuable as Reggie Kelly.
Well, we're going to go ahead and send you up to see the doc. Okay? We know what you did. And you know the way we treat it. So fix it.
Yeah. What?
It has to be fixed.
Surgery?
Yeah. Okay? And usually the recovery is about 6 months. Yeah. Okay? Doc will explain it all to you. Okay, but it's a no-brainer. Okay? We're going to go ahead and treat you up now, and then get you on crutches. We'll get you in a boot. You can go ahead and take a quick shower, and then we'll get you on the way to Cincinnati to go see Dr. Colosimo. Okay? You're going to be on the sidelines this year. Okay? I wish I had better news for you. Go ahead and treat him up.
Yeah. You want to take your pads off? I'm just going to throw some ice on if you want to take it in the shower. Okay, the ice on. That's fine.
So, Reg, when I had that video earlier, I had tears in my eyes, man. I remember when it happened. I felt for you back in 09, and I downloaded that video today, and I had tears in my eyes watching that damn video again, Reg. So, talk about that moment, man. How hard you guys worked, man. It was in the preseason that happened too, man. So, talk a little bit about that injury, man, and how devastating that was for you.
Yeah, that's that's still kind of hard for me to relive. It's kind of hard for me to watch that, when Hard Knocks was there filming that. I still didn't even want to watch it. A lot of my teammates were telling me, that they saw the clip, and a lot of my family and friends were telling me that it was a good clip. But for me, that was kind of hard for me to digest at the time. And to be honest with you, so many years later, still kind of hard for me to watch, because I remember the 2008 season. 2008 season, man, it was a dismal season. And I think that we may have won a handful of games that particular year. And based on my recollection, I think that we had a few injuries too that really stunted our progress to where we
Carson
didn't.
was hurt all year.
Yeah, absolutely, to the point where it was a tough year. And so in my mind, I was thinking 2009. We got to get ready for 2009. And so that entire offseason, I worked like I had never worked before, along with my teammates. And I wanted to get some redemption for having such a bad year as an offense and as a team. And so all of us worked extremely hard. And so off-season training came about. We were working our butt off, doing extra work, coming in early, staying late. Then OTAs came around, mini camps, and then, okay, now it's time for the real deal, baby. It's time for training camp to get ready for preseason and then kick off the season. And so training camp was going extremely well. It was going the way that I thought it would go. The guys still had that bitter taste in their mouths from the 2008 season. I thought that was good. You got to have a bitter taste. You got to have a bad, feeling in your heart for having such a bad season the previous year. And so everything was right on course. We were progressing the way that we were supposed to progress. And somewhat towards the end of practice, it was a third down play. And I was just in the backfield, protecting Carson, and nobody blitzed off the edge. So I had a free release to release out into the flat. And guys, I just took an easy release to the flat, cleared the offensive line. And as soon as I cleared the offensive line, I thought one of the defenders or the offensive lineman stepped on the back of my heel, and the back of my shoe had come off. And so I was limping, still trying to limp to make sure I reached my proper depth in case Carson needed to throw me the football. And lo and behold, he threw the football to somebody else, and I was ready to jog back to the huddle. But something was wrong. I looked down to put my shoe back on my heel, but my shoe was already on my heel. My shoe wasn't stepped on. My shoe was fully on my foot, but yet I couldn't walk. There was no pain, guys. I couldn't explain it. Wasn't in any kind of agonizing pain or anything like that, but I just couldn't walk, and I just fell to the ground. And I didn't know what it was. But then the trainer came over to me and said, you know what, you may have ruptured your Achilles. And I was like, well, I'm Reggie Kelly. I've never missed an entire season. So ruptured Achilles, I know some players, you know, they may have had to have surgery and their season was over with. But this is just, you know, training camp. So surely I'm going to beat this thing and come back early and make a storyline behind this. Lo and behold, you know, they got me on the gator and took me to the training room. And that's when we see Paul, our head trainer, talking to me, really giving me the reality of what had happened and how to get prepared for the future. And I'm not going to lie, guys, I didn't want to accept it.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't accept it. Because I had never missed a season like that. I always felt like I was the guy that my teammates depended on. I was the guy who's going to take out the trash. If they needed me to do any of the dirty work, they depended on me to do that. And now I wouldn't be there to do it. I felt like I had let my teammates down. I felt like I wasn't there for them. And it hurt. It hurt extremely bad to the point where, you know, I can remember in the locker room, Chad came over, gave me a hug, and just told me, hey, man, we got you. We know that. We know what you mean to our football team. We know that you want to be here. But we got you, Reg. We got you. We're going to take good care of everything for you. And so that gave me, you know, it put a smile on my heart, made me feel a little better. But by the same time, I was still struggling with the fact that, hey, I need to be there for my teammates. And so what owner Mike Brown did and what Coach Lewis did, they came to me a few days later and just simply said, listen, man, you can't be there to help us on the football field physically, but we still need your experience. We still need your insight. We need you to mentor these young guys, be their eyes, be their ears, as if you were actually playing on the football field, and make sure you run through film with them, teach them the little nuances of the game so that they can come in and be properly prepared to help us win. And so I wasn't able to contribute physically, but yet I still was able to contribute by, you know, helping the kids learn how to watch film. It was Dan Coates. He was a young player at the time. And I think also, didn't Ben UTEC get hurt too as well during training camp that year? I think Ben got hurt as well with concussion.
Yeah, concussion. He came from the Colts. He came from the Colts, if I'm not mistaken. So.
And Ben was supposed to step up, and he was supposed to be the next guy in line, but he ended up getting concussions to the point where we had to lean on Dan Coates. And so I was there to kind of mentor him and help talk him through some things to let him know what to expect from certain defenses and from certain players. And so, you know, I did that, but I'm not gonna lie, guys. I still haven't fully recovered from that. That hurt my heart.
Reggie, I'm sorry, Jimmy. The building on that, Reggie, as a Christian and now a successful businessman, what did you learn and what did you gain as a person from the comeback from that terrible day that has helped you as a Christian, as a person, and now a successful business owner? Did the lessons from that help you in any of those departments?
Oh, absolutely. Romans 8:28 says all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord, for those who are called according to his purpose. So I know there's purpose in everything. Nothing happens without purpose. Nothing happens by chance. And I know that was supposed to happen. And I know that I was supposed to help mentor my teammates. I was supposed to help them grow. But I was also supposed to handle myself in a way to where if I can talk the talk, I got to walk the walk. Right? If I talk to my teammates all the time about how to handle challenges, how to handle difficulties, when things don't quite go your way, what are you going to do? Are you going to shy away from it, or are you going to embrace it and become the best versions of yourself? I tell this to people all the time, that problems are the thread that run through the lives of all great men. All great men are going to have some form of problem, but great men don't run from problems. They solve them. And so I learned that through those problems that I had as far as the Achilles tendon tear, not to run away from it, to embrace it, to still help others in the midst of it, But I still will say this guy, it hurt. It absolutely hurt me. And again, when I was watching that, I was still grimacing a little bit, thinking about the thoughts that I had. But I'm hoping that through all of that experience that I still helped some guys. I believe that I did. I'm hoping that I still handled it the right way, in a way that they saw a guy who's resilient, who didn't give up. And as a matter of fact, the year after that, if I'm not mistaken, my teammates voted me the Ed Block Courage Award winner for coming back from that particular Achilles tendon injury and fighting back with some type of courage. So yeah. Tough experience. It was a tough experience, guys.
Man, I'm so sorry, Reggie, to put you through that conversation just now, man, because man, it's I've watched every Hard Knocks ever for not just the Bengals. That little scene right there was the one I remember vividly because it hurt me watching that damn thing, and I can't imagine you just went through how it affected you. Tom, we're not going out on that note. Reggie, you got another question or two we can throw at you? Reggie got up to me. Reg, can we another question or two to throw at you?
Absolutely. However long you guys need me, I'm here.
All right, Tom, go ahead, buddy.
Okay, what's your best story? Either a meeting on a sideline or a huddle on the field, where somebody either looked at John or Carson and said, "No, we're not doing that," excluding Chad. But, or a disagreement in the huddle or confusion in the huddle where everything worked out okay.
Well, listen. Again, when you have a Levi Jones, an Eric Steinbach, a Richie Bramman, we know how Richie can be all ornery from time to time, especially when he feels like we should be running the football. And you got a Bobby Williams and you got a Willie Anderson. You got a massive offensive line. Now, anytime you have guys like that, sure, they do a great job pass protecting, right? They enjoy pass protecting. But most of the time when you have guys like that, they want to attack a defense. They want to maul a defense. And the way that you do that is running the football. We know Chad and we know TJ, they're going to want the football. They're going to be open on every single play. And there have been plays where they were wide open. There have been plays where we were throwing to the point where Richie said, "No, man, we're running the football, and we're going to run the football down their throat." And I'm going to be honest with you. When Richie spoke, everybody listened. So there have been many a times where a pass play was called in and Richie vetoed it. And we ended up running the football. And our favorite running plays were 24 power or either 42 ISO. 24 power or 42 ISO. We could run those plays with our eyes closed. And so those were the times I can remember Big Richie. Richie was kind of a quiet guy, didn't say much, well respected. But when he spoke, everybody listened, especially when it was time to run the football and quit pass protecting, letting those defensive line beat up on them.
That's funny. We got a question from a viewer here, Augie from New York. In 2010, what was it like being teammates? Not only did you have Chad Johnson, but I think you had Terrell Owens as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. You know, a lot of people give T.O., they give him a bad break, right? They tend to focus on some of the antics that he does. Some people say he's a prima donna. And I think it's just like anything, just like Chad, Chad off the field, Chad is cool, calm. He likes to joke around. On the field, he becomes Ocho, right? He becomes Ocho, and he likes to entertain. Well, when you think about T.O. was the same way, man. Outside the football field, T.O. to me was even more laid back than Chad. Now, Chad was a little bit high strung, but T.O. was really, really laid back. Off the field, we call him Terrell. On the field, when the lights came on, he was T.O., and he wanted to put on the show, and the only way he can put on the show is if that ball was in his hand. And he wanted the ball. He demanded the ball. He wanted to make sure that he got the ball in his hand because he felt like if I get the ball in my hands, I can change the outcome of a game. You have to respect that type of a confidence in a player, somewhat like you had to respect a Willie Anderson, say, don't worry about that guy. I neutralize him. You just focus on the other 10 guys. And Willie was such a dominant force to the point where if he neutralized the best player that a team had, they gave us a better chance to win. And T.O. was such a dominant force to where if we got the ball in his hands, that gave us a great chance to win. Now, some people argue about the antics, the way that he go about his business. Granted, I get that. But in the grand scheme of things, what type of results are you getting? Is he executing at a high level, getting your offense or getting your team an opportunity to win games? And he did just that. See, I didn't really know much about T.O. besides how he played the game of football, but you really tend to learn the type of person that a player is off the football field, just talking to him about everyday life. And the times that T.O. and I spoke about life, he was really a cool, laid-back guy that wanted what everybody else wanted in life. But on the football field, just give him the ball and get out of his way, just similar to Michael Jordan.
That's funny. So, Reg, so everybody's watching right now, and again, Reggie's coming in town for Jungle Jam. I think we have about 50 players. We probably will wind up having closer to 60 players come in town. Reggie, John Kitna is a high school football coach here at Lakota East. He's going to be there. So, and some of your other teammates. We got players from every era coming in. So, talk about what this means to you, coming in, seeing some of your former teammates and meeting Bengal players from pretty much every era of Bengals football, including current players.
Man, it's a brotherhood. You know, anytime that you can get together on a happy note, not necessarily a sad note, and get a chance to socialize and, you know, talk about the good old days, talk about the plays that we made, talk about some of the things like you said, you know, some of the arguments we had, how do we fix those arguments, some of the big games that we won, some of the games that we expected to win but we lost. It all brings back those memories that we had, and man, you just can't take those away. And most of the time, even if you hadn't talked to a guy's 5 or 10 years, you normally pick up where you left off, and it's fun, man. It'd be great for me to see Kid again. Hadn't seen him in quite some time. It'd be great for me to catch up with Kevin Case and mess around with him, because he used to always have to cover me. Yes, I did run some routes, guys. I did catch a couple of passes now. I wasn't just an offensive lineman playing the tight end position. And so we used to always just go at it, you know, in one-on-one drills when the tight ends had to match up against a safety. And talk about those days that I just beat Case down, just dogged him out, just routed him up. Absolutely, baby. I'm going to throw that in there too.
Did you play with Nate Livings too, right, for a couple of years?
I played with Big Nate. He's our left guard as well from LSU.
Yeah, he'll be there. He'll be there too. So it's
LSU.
It's going to be fun. Well, Reg, look, man, you gave us way more than we asked for tonight, brother. I just want to say, look, man, I'm excited not just about you coming in town and meeting some of the former players and hanging out with some of your former teammates. When was the last time you were in Cincinnati? It's been a while.
It's been quite some time. You know, last time I was there, Jim, was when, you know, the Bengals were, you know, trying to pick the 50 top Bengal players, and I was nominated as the top 50. Didn't make the top 50, but I was nominated, and so the team still flew me in for an opportunity to be a part of the celebration. So I think that was when 2019, maybe?
18 or 19. I think it was 18.
So it's been quite some time since I've been to the Natty, man.
Well, Reg, there's a lot of good stuff going on. We're going to take care of it, but it's not just the players. Look, man, the fans, Tom and I, just like us, thousands of them, dude. They cannot wait to see you, say hi to you. We're excited about it. But what's really cool about this, Reg, is getting to talk to players like yourself and getting to know it on a different level, man. It's not always what you do on the field, right? What you have done off the field. Every player we've ever talked to about you, Reggie, after talking to you tonight for 45 minutes right now, they nailed it. Class guy on the field, a better guy even off the field. And Reg, we appreciate you being part of this team's history. And one thing that we will not let happen, we're never going to let our legends, our Bengal legends like Reggie Kelly, be forgotten ever. So we appreciate you, man.
Jim, I definitely appreciate you and Tom, man. And I will say this, it's going to be fun also to interact with the fans, those who know me, and those who know me as Kelly Washington as well. It's going to be we're going to put you on stage.
I don't know.
We're going to introduce him as Reggie Kelly. Make him do the squirrel on stage, Tom. That's what
squirrel, man. That should be fun. You know, I'm a Bengal for life, man. You guys have welcomed me into Cincinnati. Showed me great love. Showed my family great love. Have always supported me, and I wanted to give my all. I wanted to be exactly, you know, what you guys brought me in there to do, and and I'm hoping that I didn't disappoint. I'm grateful to the good Lord I had that experience. And I'm gonna say this again. That was probably one of the best business decisions I could have ever made, to sign to play for the Cincinnati Bengals. Who they, baby?
Who dey? Reg, we appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate you. I'll get you the itinerary and everything. Got your flight booked, got your hotels ready.
Yeah.
I'll get one more touch before you come in town, brother. But we appreciate you, man. Thanks for your time tonight.
Appreciate it, guys. Y'all take care and God bless.
Take
All
care.
right, you too, man. Thank you.
Who dey?
Man, he's exactly what every other player that has ever talked about, Reg. I mean, just you know the story I didn't know when he early in the conversation time when he was talking about. I didn't know the Colts were after him. I didn't know the Falcons still. You know, obviously we're still trying to get him, and then you know, so it's how he wound up here is pretty interesting.
It was, and that Marvin's first year in free agency, everybody was convinced, we got Marvin. This is the new era. This is what we've been waiting for. And I remember when free agency started that year, it was nothing. It was the same thing for the first couple of days. It was, we're going to wait for the prices to come down. And I remember those first couple of days, I think our only signing was a guy, you remember Carl Powell?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We got him from the Redskins. He played for Marvin when Marvin was defensive coordinator in Washington. And that was it for a couple of days. And then we got Reggie, and it was like, okay, there is a plan. Things are going to work out good. This guy will help immensely, and he did. And he did. I mean, imagine if we'd have had him at tight end during Corey's best years of football.
We would have not had to throw the ball.
Well, I mean, look what he did. Look what he did for Rudy.
Right.
What he meant to Rudy. So,
and to hear him talk about every guy in that offensive line, that was awesome. Again, this isn't a Chad Johnson, a Joe Burrow that we just had on, but he literally, like Tom said, probably the best blocking tight end in the history of this organization.
Oh, yeah.
And the Marvin Lewis, if you remember some of the guys we had on the team when Marvin was here early, right? We had some issues, man, and to bring a guy in like Reggie, you could see what Marvin was trying to do with getting him in town.
Those early years, the team was so deprived of talent. We still had to take some chances on guys.
Yep.
Guys that were first round draft choices that had been busts. And I remember Dwayne Clemens.
Oh yeah.
We were bringing guys like him in. We were taking risks just to get more talent in the locker room, and eventually it built, and unfortunately it fell apart all too quickly.
Yep.
But not going to happen now.
Yeah. Well, let's close it out here. Again, we'll be back next Sunday. And Tom, you're just not hearing this for the first time. I will be on a flight back to Cincinnati during the show next week, so I will not be on the show. But let's talk about just close it out tonight, Tom. We got a lot of stuff to close out on here.
Well, we are 13 days away from Jungle Jam, and I appreciate all the enthusiasm. In fact, I got 2 texts very early this morning from people that had questions. So we'll see everybody at Newport on the Levee on the 19th. Relax, come up to us. Hope we can relax and talk some football. Visit with your Bengal legends. How many spots did you see? We've got, safe to say, we've got less than a half a dozen for the alumni autograph session.
The alumni signing autographs, we're going to have more than that.
No, I mean, it's 6 spots available for people to still sign up for it.
Oh yeah. Tickets that are left for the alumni. The
Right.
VIP session sold out. The alumni session, I think it's 5, less than 5. I didn't check today, but it's
Okay.
capped out. So yeah.
6 or 5. So please get in there and get that. Unfortunately, we won't be able to help you the day of. So please get in, get signed up for that. It's going to be fantastic. We've got some really big names. And hopefully some guys that'll end up coming back this fall. But we've got, Lamar Parrish, Isaac Curtis, guys like that, guys that have meant so much. And you would not believe what it means to these guys, these veterans, to come out and see the enthusiasm and the knowledgeable Bengal fans. It wasn't always easy. They weren't always treated fairly by the media. there were tough times. Even when they were playing well, they would still get beat up by the media. And I mean, Jimmy can attest. We've had guys. I'll go ahead and say to him, they're the big tough. We've had guys cry. They're just so overwhelmed at how much it means. So it's a good way to kick off the season with optimism, getting fired up for the season. So we'll look to see everybody at Newport on the Levee on the 19th. And I guess James, Jamie, and I will see all of you next Sunday night.
Yep. And again, here's the itinerary that day, the rundown. I want to post this at some point tomorrow. There's the time frames. Parking is pretty easy. Parking underneath the levee, street parking. You can park. There's a parking lot down the street, but underneath the levee, I'd get there as early as you can.
Cam Miller's going to be there.
Cam Miller's going to be there. We're going to have 22 vendors. The Houday mascot's going to be there for 3 hours. The Bengals will be performing. It is going to be basically a festival, 3-ring circus festival. We're going to have all kinds of fun stuff. Remember, it is free. You can come down, enjoy yourself, have fun. There's a post-event concert outside. It is going to be a lot of fun. So we appreciate you guys tuning in with us tonight. We'll be back next Sunday for sure. But keep an eye on social media. A lot of stuff will be posted about Jungle Jam. Get your friends and family down there. This is going to be a very, very, just like last year, a very family-friendly event. There were tons of kids at Jungle Jam last year, so we expect to see the same thing this year. But appreciate you guys being with us tonight. Love you guys. We'll see you next Sunday night at 8 o'clock. Houday, everybody.
Houday.